Now, I don't know about you, but one of the most magical things that I remember seeing on websites were chatbots. I'm not talking about general purpose chatbots. I'm talking about specific chatbots that help users achieve various things. So for instance, you can purchase a product. You can get help with a product. You can get tech support with a product. They seemingly work like magic because it seems like regardless of what you're asking, they know exactly what you want and they know what kind of information that you want. And plus, you can complete a transaction right through the chatbot without browsing the website and looking for various information and searching various things. And so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can build your own customizable chatbot that you can customize for any application, for any site, for any tool, for any products. You can do exactly what you want. And plus, not only can you build it for yourself, for your own use, but you can also sell it to various companies, to various stores, e-commerce stores, all kinds of businesses that are looking to automate the relationship that they have with their users. And so in this video, you're going to learn what chatbots are, how do they work, how to build your own. And then later in the video, I'm going to be showing you a complete proof of concept chatbot that works amazingly well and allows users to get information about specific products and even purchase them. Now, as always, all the apps that I'm going to be showing you in today's video are going to be available to view and or clone from my Patreon page, the link to which you're going to find in the description below. Now, the first thing that I want to do is to explain what are chatbots and what purpose do they serve. So here's a really simple illustration of what chatbots are and what exactly do they do. So here we have a simple exchange between a chatbot and a user. So the chatbot asks, hey, what can I help you find today? And the user, replied, I'm looking for a black bike. And the chatbot replied, are you looking for this bike? And it even gave some information about the bike, the price, the picture, etc., etc. And here we have another exchange. This is a order status. The user is asking, hey, just curious what the status of my last order is. And the chatbot was able to look up the order and gave some information about the order, that it was shipped, and also some information such as the date of the last order, the URL that they can track the shipping. And so the user is able to get a ton of information fairly quickly without needing to go on the website and browse the website and search around the website and become frustrated because they can't find something. Additionally, they don't need to call the company, they don't need to call the store. And the result is that everybody's happy and the customer is going to make more orders because they are very, very satisfied with their ordering experience. Here's another example of a chatbot, and this is a site that allows you to build various chatbots, right? So here we have an exchange. Hi, how can I help you? This is the chatbot here. And the user is replying, I'm looking for a watch with a step counter. So the chatbot replies, I got you covered. There it is. And they can even buy it here. Okay. And so as you can see, chatbots are super helpful, are super valuable because they allow the user to get the exact information that they need very, very quickly without all the fuss and muss, searching the website, calling the store, etc., etc. And so as a result, everybody is going to be happier in the long run. Now that you have a general idea of what chatbots are, let's talk about how you can build your own customizable chatbot. And so there are tons and tons of different apps out there that allow you to build a customizable chatbot, whether it's for yourself or for a third party. Maybe you want to sell it to another store or another company. A very, very popular product is from chatbot.com, which is a very nice domain name, and they allow you to create chatbots. And so here I am logged into a free account here, and I can create my own bot. But an interesting thing is I can look at different templates. So I have featured, basic, automation. So let's say we pick basic, and we have various templates for different scenarios of chatbots that we may want to build. So here we have a customer service bot. So I can click here, I can import this story, and now I have a chatbot for a specific purpose. Then I can customize for my own special need. And so looking at this diagram, you begin to understand how chatbots are structured. And the way they're structured is we have a starting point. And this is typically where the bot is going to say something like, "Hi, how are you? How can I help you?" And the user is going to be given a bunch of options where they can follow up, and the bot is going to know what the user is looking for. So in this example, the bot is going to reply, "Hi, how can I help you?" And here we are giving the users 4 options that they can pick from. So something like main menu, support, sales, talk to an agent. And when the user picks a specific option, it's going to go to the next level. So for instance, support is going to lead to maybe remind password or change plan. Sales is going to go into like maybe free trial, product features, pricing, or callable sales, and so on and so on and so on. So it's kind of this like tree diagram that we're designing where we can try to understand what the user wants and guide them in the right direction, where we can provide them with a specific answer to what they're looking for. Now, here I have another diagram that could be used for maybe an e-commerce store, a place where a user can go on and purchase products or get support with an existing product that they might have purchased. So here we have an initial text. So it could be something like, "Hello, how can I help you today?" And then we have various options. Okay, so we have maybe sales, tech support, customer support, other. So if they pick sales, we can sell them the kind of products that we sell. So something like cameras and microphones. And then once they pick a specific camera from this list, we can, tell them, "Hey, do you want to purchase this camera, or do you need more information about this camera?" And they can maybe click on purchase, and then they can purchase it right away. And so using this diagram, you can start to have an idea of how you can build your own custom chatbot for a specific purpose. Now, in terms of building our own customizable chatbot, we can obviously use something like chatbot.com or one of the many and many other services that's out there that allows you to build your own chatbot. But what I really wanted to do was to build a super customizable chatbot using AI. And so for that, I decided to leverage the power of modern AI to build a super customizable chatbot that will do exactly what I wanted to do and could be customized for just about any other application. And so here I am in beta.openai.com, and this is a playground where you can essentially talk to an AI. This is not ChatGTP. This is a different product, but it's as powerful because you can do some amazing things with it. And so as an example, we can start with a simple prompt that looks something like this. We are instructing the AI to write, "How can I help you?" and give the user 2 options to answer. So we can start with something like this, and then we can execute this request. And this is what the AI answers with: "How can I help you? Please select from the following options, sales or tech support." Next, we can give it further instructions so that it can handle the user reply. So we can pay something like this: "If the user answers with option 1, reply with what would you like to buy. If the user picks option 2, say what's the issue." And so we give it instructions and then we answer as a user. So we can say something like sales. Okay. And then it should hopefully come back and say, "What would you like to buy?" We're going to execute this. And there it is. It's saying, "What would you like to buy?" And so obviously we can keep going using this method. We can instruct the bot how to reply, and then we can reply as the user and get the next prompt that the bot is asking us to do. And yes, you can build a chatbot using this method, but there's a much better way of doing it. And that is where you give it all the instructions, all the data, all the information up front, and then it can carry on the conversation using the data that you've given. And so here's an example where I'm giving all the data and all the instructions up front to the bot. And the idea is that I don't need to keep feeding it instructions as we are chatting with it. I can just give it all the data, and then it's going to be able to carry on a conversation with the user. So we're telling it, "Assume you are an e-commerce chatbot. I'm going to give you a list of questions to ask me, and corresponding options I need you to choose as my answer. The questions are going to be in the following format," and then we have a list of questions. And I also give it a list of products. In this example, we just give it 2 products, but obviously in the real example, we're going to give it a lot more products, and we're also going to have a lot more questions. And then we tell it, "Start by asking me the first question." And then we execute this. And there's the first question. This is the question that we asked. It's just a sample question 1. And we gave it 2 options. So we say, choose from the following, sales or tech support. I'm going to say sales. I'm going to hit submit. And then there's the sales question. Choose from the following, sales 1 or sales 2. And that is the question that we gave it. And so these are all sample questions. And that way you can see that it's actually following up and asking the question that's tied to the previous questions. And all of this is going to allow us to very quickly and easily create our own set of questions that we can get this bot to follow up on. And so now that you understand how you can give instructions and data to OpenAI and customize it to your liking with your own questions, with your own products, with your own flows, things like that. And the next thing that I did is I created my own list of custom questions that we're going to be feeding this chatbot. Here we have 3 columns. We have the previous column, we have the question column, and we have the options column. The question column is the specific question that we want the chatbot to ask the user. The options are the options that we want the chatbot to give the user as a way to answer the question. Now, the previous is a little more interesting. This is where we follow up with the question that was asked before. So for instance, this is our first question. There's no previous question here. But let's say they pick sales. Well, if they pick sales, then we're going to go in here. This is sales. And we are going to ask the user, which products are you interested in? If they pick tech support, it's going to go into customer service. This should obviously be tech support. And it's going to ask them this question. It's going to say, what's the issue you're having? Return product, call back. And if they pick return, we're just going to say, we'll process your return, main menu, etc., etc. Now, if they pick sales, we give them 3 options. And if they pick cameras, we say, okay, here are the cameras we have for sale. If they pick microphones, we do the same thing. Here are the microphones we have. Lenses, we do the same thing. Here are the lenses we have. And then I have a list of products, okay? Simple list of products. We have a category, brand, model, and URL. And what we're going to be doing is feeding this data into that initial prompt. That's going to allow the chatbot to kind of understand all the data that we have and to present different products, different category, brands, models, etc., etc. And so now that we understand how to get OpenAI to create a fully customizable, extensible chatbot with our own instructions, our own data, our own everything, all that was left to do was to create a proof of concept app that's going to import the data that we have and interface with this OpenAI in order to present the user with new prompts, new questions, as well as new answers. And this is where I created a fully functional proof of concept app in FlutterFlow that does exactly that. So let me run the app first so that you can see how it works. And then we're going to come back into FlutterFlow and I'm going to show you exactly how it's built so that you understand how you can build one yourself as well. So I'm going to run this app in a test environment right now. So here's the app. And on this first screen, we can start a new interaction with the chatbot. And you can do that by clicking on this plus icon here. So that's what we're going to do. That creates a brand new chat. And right away, it's asking us, how can I help you? Choose from the following, sales or tech support. And that is because we already fed all that information, all the instructions as our initial prompt. So it kind of knows where to start and it knows what to anticipate. And so what we can do is we can say, well, sales. And so we're going to say sales. And it replied to us, which products are you interested in? Choose from the following cameras, microphones, and lenses. Now, you have to understand that I didn't tell it to reply exactly like this, but it understands the products that we have. It also understands that we have various categories of products. It understands we have various models. All of that is done by AI. We just fed it a data and we told it, okay, these are models, these are categories, these are this are that, and it understands it. And so what I'm going to do is, let's say I want to buy a camera. I'm interested in what kind of cameras they're selling. I'm going to say cameras. And here it gave us a reply of some of the cameras that it has for sale. So a couple of Sonys. It also gave us the URLs, things like that. Now I can also say something like purchase Sony a7S III. If I do that, I instructed it to give us just the link. So I said purchase, and it should reply with just the link. And there you have it. You can purchase Sony a7 III at this URL. And that is just a fake link that I created so that we just have a URL in place. The other thing that I can do is, remember, it said that it has microphones. So I can say, what kind of microphones? do you have? And there we have it. We have Shure, this, Audio Technica, all of this. And these are the microphones that I specified in the products, right? These are the microphones that I fed into the app, and the app fed as the initial prompt. Another thing that I can do is I can ask for specific products. So, do you have Sony cameras? And there it says, yes, we have Sony cameras. Here are the Sony cameras we have for sale. I can say, do you have Panasonic cameras? Yes, we have Panasonic cameras. Here are the Panasonic cameras we have for sale, Panasonic S5 II. And that is one of the products that I fed into it. Here I have one Panasonic cameras. And so as you can see, I fed into it these questions, but it's also able to understand a bunch of other questions that I never really thought of and never really anticipated and never even fed into the system. Now we also have an option for tech support here, as you can see. So I can type something like tech support, and I should get another prompt. There you have it. What's the issue you're having? Choose from the following, return product, call back. And that's taken from here. What's the issue you're having? Return product, call back. And I can say return. And then it says here, we'll process your return. And then it lists the main menu. And that is because what we have here is return, we'll process your return, and then the main menu. And then it goes into the main menu right away. And so there you have it, a very, very quick example of a chatbot that's customized using my own data and using my own instructions or questions. Now let's jump into FlutterFlow and let me show you exactly how I build this app step by step. The first thing that you have to do is you gotta get your OpenAI API keys. And you can do that by logging into OpenAI. I have a free account right now, going into account setting and going into view API keys. And you can create new API keys, delete old ones, etc., etc. The next thing that you need to do is you need to configure your API call. You can do that in this API calls setting here. And in order to know how to configure it properly, you can simply go back into Playground. And anytime you're messing around, you're playing around with this Playground, you can always click on View Code and you can see exactly the form of the request. So as you can see, it's a post request to this URL, and you have two headers, content type and authorization with your OpenAI API key, and then you have model, you have the prompt, and a bunch of other settings. So all you need to do is copy all of this, go back into FlutterFlow and configure the headers here, and then you can configure the body. So I just copied everything except the prompt, which is a variable that I configured here. And now if I go into response and test, I can enter the value like the prompt what I want. So for instance, what is 1 + 1? And I can do test API key, and I'm going to get a response. And what I'm looking for is this text field here, right? So if I scroll down, I can go into recommended and I can just pick the field that contains the value that I want. So in this case, I want this value. I'm just going to pick selected here. I'm going to check this, go back, and it's going to be displayed here. I'm going to give it a name. In this case, I just gave it answer because I will be referencing this variable everywhere inside my app. Anytime I need to get the response back, it's going to be called answer. You can also call it response if you want. The next thing that you need to do is you need to configure your Firestore, right? Because we're going to be using various data. In this example, I have the users schema here. I have my chats here. And inside the chats, I have chat messages. And I have chat messages too, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. This is very, very important. I also have the flows, and these are the questions, right? So we have the previous field, we have the question, we have the options, exactly how I have it here. We have the previous, question, and options. And that way we can easily follow up with the user with a specific question that depends on the previous question by looking at this previous field. Next, we have the products. We have category, brand, model, and URL. And so what I did here was I entered my data into the spreadsheet here, then went to File, Download, downloaded as comma-separated values, and then went back here, clicked on Manage Content, picked a collection here, so for instance, flows or products, and then I uploaded the resulting CSV, and that way it populated the data immediately. And of course, I also configured a Firestore DB project specifically for this app. That way I have the data in my Firestore DB. So here I have flows, I have products, and I also have my chat. You can ignore the other fields there for the other apps. Now let's talk about the logic inside of the app. On this chat screen here, we have a list of chats. So if you come in here, you can see this widget tree here. And we have a list of chats. This is simply a list of chats. If we come to this backend query, we have a list of chats. When you click on this button, we have a bunch of actions. And what we're doing is we're creating a new chat document, and we are navigating to that page where we can communicate with the chat bot. So this is the page where we're going to be entering the various messages and seeing the messages displayed, our own messages, as well as the chat bot's messages that it's replying to us. So we're going to redirect there. The next thing that we're doing is we are executing a backend call. And this is where we're going to be sending that initial prompt, that big prompt with the data, instructions, questions, etc., etc. And so we come in here, we're passing this question, and we are using a custom function called generate initial prompt. So if we come here, we have this custom function, and all that the function is really doing is it's sending exactly this thing here, this initial prompt. But what I'm doing is I'm getting the flows and I'm getting the products and I'm replacing it inside of the functions. And that way the chatbot is going to be aware of any of the new products that we added or products that we deleted or products that we modified. It's going to be fully customizable and fully dynamic. And so here we are formatting the questions, and here we are formatting the products. And then inside of this function, I'm saying here's a list of questions, and then here's a list of products. And all this data is pulled from FirestoreDB. Next, we check if the API call was a success. If it was, then we're going to create a new document. This is a new chat message. And we're also going to update the main message collection with the last message. And that way you can see what was the last message on that main message screen. Otherwise, if there was a problem with the API call, maybe some issue, we're going to display an alert dialog box. And this way, this page is going to list all our existing chats. It's going to list the last message for each chat. It's also going to list the time that that last message was sent. And it's going to give us the ability to create new chats. The next important page here is this chat messages page. And on this page here, we're actually listing the messages that we're having with the chat bot. So we have here a list view, and if we come in here, this is a list view of messages from that reference that we clicked on the previous page. So on the previous page, we are either creating a new chat or we are clicking on an existing chat, and this is the reference here. And that way I can list all the messages for that specific chat in question. Now, when displaying the messages here, what I want to do is I want to display my own messages, the messages that I sent on the right-hand side, and the messages that the chat bot replied on the left-hand side. This is kind of what I noticed with apps like WhatsApp, iMessage, Telegram, etc., etc. That seems to be kind of the standard of doing it. And in order to do that, we created a stack, and inside the stack, we have rows. And these rows have conditional visibility. And that is where we check, okay, is that message ours or it's not ours? Is that message logged in users or not logged in users? So in this example, this is row other, it's displaying the bot's message. Whereas in this example, this is my row, meaning the logged in users, and we are displaying my message. And so this row here is going to be on the right-hand side, and this other row here is going to be on the left-hand side. And that way you can see that familiar design where you have one message here, one message here, one message here, one message here. You're never going to have a situation where you're going to have two messages in the same row. You're going to have a row, 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 row. It should be familiar to pretty much everybody who uses messaging app. Along with the message, we're also displaying the relative time of the message. So whether it was sent 2 minutes ago, moments ago, an hour ago, 2 hours ago, etc., etc. I really like that relative time formatting. Now, on the bottom of this page, we have here the main logic, and this is where the user can send the message to the chatbot. Okay, so we have an input message here, which is an input field, and we have the send button. Now, when the user presses this button here, we're doing a couple of things. The first thing that we're doing is we're creating a new document, and this is going to be a chat message, which is going to be inside our chats collection. This is a sub collection, and we're using the chat ref, which references the existing chat that we're working with right now. And then we have an API call. Okay, so we're doing an API call, and here's the important thing is that in our API call, we always need to send this cumulative data, right? We're not going to be sending just that text message that the user sent, right? So if you come back here, anytime you're going to be answering questions and doing replies and everything, the API is going to be sending this whole screen here. It's going to be sending all the messages. And so in the app that we're building, we're always going to be sending this initial prompt, and then we're going to generate a new prompt with all the other messages. Okay, so we're going to be sending that cumulative messages. So I have here a custom function that generates an initial prompt. Okay, this is that function that you saw. And here I have another function called generate prompt that basically takes all the previous messages and converts them into a one big string. Okay, we're just joining all the other messages on this new line here. And that way we have all the other messages along with that main prompt. And that way the system can understand the context. It can understand what's been happening and where the user is at. And so that's going to be formatted into our API call here. Now, after we send that API, we need to actually display the result. And in order to do that, we need to do another backend call of the result. And this is where we're creating a new message. And this message is a simple code expression that trims the message. It removes all the new lines, the spaces, things like that, just cleans it up. But the problem with FlutterFlow is that you cannot create multiple messages in the same collection. And so what I did was I created two sub-collections of that main chat collection. And then I created a custom function that's all it's doing is just duplicating the data. So if I go into my Firestore here and I go into my chats and I go into a chat here, I have these two sub-collections. And FlutterFlow does not allow you to create two documents in the same action for the same sub-collection. And so what I'm doing is I'm creating a message in this collection, but I'm also creating a message in this collection. And then my Firebase function automatically copies the messages there as well. And you need to do that because in our example, we need to store the message that we are sending, and we also need to store the resulting API response from OpenAI. After we created the document for the response, we update the last message field of the chat, and then we clear the text fields. And that way you have this cool UI experience where you're typing something, it goes out as an API call, it comes back as an API call, and you're seeing the response because all these messages are saved in the same sub-collection called chat messages. And that is pretty much it. That's all the app does. The biggest challenge here was to figure out how to take all this input data that the user is entering and convert it into a format that OpenAI can understand. And what I realized is that I can send this initial big prompt with instructions, all the data, things like that. And then I can follow up with more questions, more answers, while sending a cumulative response on every call. And that way OpenAI can understand what's happening. It can understand the context. It can understand what's going on. And the result is that we have a fully customizable and fully extensible chatbot that can be used for pretty much any application, any app. You can sell it to any business, any company. You can do so many things with it. And that's all thanks to NoCode and OpenAI. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video and you are interested in building apps such as this one, you are interested in taking your NoCode knowledge to the next level. Maybe you're interested in cloning this specific app that I built. Maybe you're interested in building that one app that you've been putting off for a very, very long time. Whatever your reason is, you definitely want to check out my Patreon page, because not only will you be able to view and or clone all the apps that I built using FlutterFlow as well as using some of the other no-code builders, but you're also going to get more content. You're going to get access to things such as Q&As, live streams, my behind the scenes series, as well as my masterclass episodes where I do a deep dive on a specific topic that a lot of people have issues with. Plus, by joining our amazing Patreon community, you're going to be supporting this channel and supporting my work. So if you're super serious about no-code, and we all know that no-code is absolutely amazing, I strongly advise you to check out my Patreon page and hopefully join our amazing community. You're gonna see a link to my Patreon page in the description below the video. For more no-code and FlutterFlow development, make sure to check out the video you are seeing on the screen right now.